Hi everyone, welcome to Hilltop View Journals and welcome to another instalment of Junk Journal August, which is 31 Days of Prompts and Inspiration, hosted by Raindrop Lila. So we have a collaboration of many creative, talented individuals taking part in the prompts every day. And today I've combined prompts 18 to 21. So I've combined layers, a photograph, words, and a hidden spot. And I've made a few things. This is just one of them that I've made, but I've also made some scrappy tags, and we've got a little belly band with something hidden inside there. And there's a couple of other things here that I've made, so please do join me. It's a bit of a craft with me session, and I hope you'll get some scraps out and play along. Masterboards are by far the easiest way to create layers, and I love masterboards. I've got lots of videos here on my channel about creating masterboards, but just in case somebody hasn't seen it before, I'm going to very quickly create a masterboard from the scraps that I've got left over from my crafting sessions so far. And it is always best to have something to hand to wipe with. So I'm just looking at what I need. Okay, so I just got a cloth here. And there are different ways of creating your masterboard, and this is just one of them, where you pop your scraps down, and rather than, well, you can do two things. You can either overlap the pieces of scraps. Got a dirty bit there. Oh, now I've ripped it. Let's see if I can glue that back. So you can either layer it like that, right up to the line, or you can layer over it, and it does give a different look. I'm going to do the first one, but there will be a little bit of overlap as well, because by the time you start filling in the piece, the background page, you won't have pieces of paper that will match the sort of space you've got. And I've just used a thin piece of paper here. So it's something I've printed that I haven't used, so I'm going to use it now. And I wanted something tidy on the back side because I want to create tags out of this masterboard. Something good for wiping this down is a dry baby wipe. They're really useful. You can use any type of glue. I'm using glue stick, but you can use Mod Podge, you can use matte medium, PVA glue, any preference really. The other thing I'm doing is I'm using straight edges. So that does also make a difference than tearing. And I'm also using all kit scraps in this one instead of mixing it with book pages and other types of print. So you can really alter how your masterboards look by changing things. So I've got a bit of a gap there, so I've got some strips, so I'll fill that in. The other thing you can use on your masterboards to fill in strips and little pieces, awkward pieces, is washi or masking tape. And also changing the orientation of your scraps will make a difference too. So that's just a couple of ideas on making a basic masterboard and changing how it looks. And I honestly could do this all day. I think it's just great. It's a great technique to do.
This is as good a day as any to start the rebuilding of life. The roads that lay open are many when the old one's gone under the knife. And I can feel the sun on my skin, beginning to thaw from within. Today and not tomorrow, there's no time to borrow. Today is a good day to live. This morning has a clearer light as any to see the horizon in the far. Excuses were 2 for a penny, but they've all gone out the window of this car. And when I feel the wind on my face.
So I got a couple of little awkward gaps there, and what I'm going to do is add some washi. You could basically add anything. It really doesn't matter. But with my masterboards, what I tend to do is create just the one layer and leave it, because I never know what I'm going to use my masterboards for. So I like to leave my options open, and then I can add more layers when I use them for whatever I'm going to use them for. So such as tags, journaling cards, journal covers. I love using masterboards on journal covers. So I'm using quite translucent washi tape, so it kind of blends into the background, and I like that. It just gives it a little bit of interest. Okay, that's enough. What I like to do then is just trim where I've gone off the edge, but I haven't really done much of that, so I don't have to trim too much. And for the next layer, what I like to do then to the masterboard, before I just leave it to be ready for when I'm going to use it, is I do like to do a little bit of stitching on it. Especially if I know I'm going to use this for a specific project, like I know I'm going to use it to make tags in my August Junk Journal. So I'm just going to do some random stitching all over now. You'll probably see better on this side where I've just randomly gone and done loads of stitches. And I don't mind that being on the back of the tag. I think it makes it look interesting. So that's a very simple masterboard. And what you can also do for creating a masterboard is not have your backing and just going straight, just layering one piece of paper onto the next. And if I again just cut some of these up, so I think I'll just use my ruler. And so this is called franking pages, and I love franking pages, and franking pages are great in your journal. Now I've already bound my journal, so I'm not intending on putting any more journal pages in them, but you can use franking pages with so many other different things as well. So again, just use up all your scraps and just have fun sticking them down. It really is as simple as that, really. With franking pages, you will see the backs. So depending on what you're going to use your franking pages for. So again, I'm just showing you this. I'll be using them for tags. So I'll be probably putting them, I'll probably stick them on a base eventually. But you can really create beautiful pages. And I'll show you how you can make your pages look a bit more interesting on the back side in a second. Okay, so I find using something with a fine tip, sort of PVA glue with a fine tip, a bit easier for making franking pages. And then all you're doing, and this is actually how I make a lot of my art journal pages, so I'll use book pages as the base, and then I will just start gluing them together like this. And then when you bind them, you've got journal pages that are already just decorated almost. So you do need to layer up these because there needs to be some kind of connection. And you can go whichever way you want. whichever direction. You can make them as big as you want. So these are great when you're making a tall journal, or you want to do a journal cover. I love doing this. It's one of my favourite lap tasks. You can make the pieces as big or as small, it really doesn't matter. But this is a great task to do when you're really short of time, and you know you'll feel better if you do something, but you also know you haven't got much time. So doing something like this, I think, is just great. It really does help you. If I'm making these for a journal, I usually have a piece of paper underneath, which is like a template of the size of the page, so I don't then go overboard and make them too big. But you're never going to waste any of this. It's just, you just cut it up and use it for various ephemera. And this kit is just perfect for this type of fun, because there's just so many colours in it. It's just brilliant. And what I would do is, so if I wanted to make sure that the back was as pretty as the white as the front, I would be using pages that have got patterns on the back, or alternatively I would be sort of flipping it over, so I'd have plain patches and then I would have pretty pages on the back as well. But I'm not really bothered about what's on the back of these, so I'm not going to fuss doing that, but that is something else that you can do as well. And of course you can add washi tape or masking tape or anything to these, just like the masterboard. And you just keep on going until you can stop, which for me is quite difficult. I can just keep on going all day, unfortunately. And then sometimes I finish that off with stitching as well. So if you want to make the back pretty, then what I would do is go over some of this with more pieces and just vary the patterns that are on the back. So just going sort of like that, and just once it's glued down and you've got stitching and things, or washi tape and stamps and all sorts of things, then yeah, it'll look really pretty. So I'm just going to make this into some kind of shape and make myself stop somehow. So it doesn't look too dissimilar, but obviously it's a lot more lightweight than this one because it's double layers, so you can certainly feel the difference between the two. With my masterboard, I've got a layer and I've got some stitching, and what I wanted to do now was create the tag shape. And I know that this tag shape, or the size of it, fits my journal, so you can make your tags any size, although I will measure these sizes tag in a second. It is 17 centimetres, 6 3/4 inches, 7.5 centimetres, 3 inches. And what you can do then with your tag is add additional layers. So you could add a layer of tracing paper or vellum. So let's just cut a piece off here about the width that I want it. And what you can do then is create that layer like that. And what I'm going to do to this is do some typing on it, so I can also do the prompt words. I'm just going to pop that on there. Okay, and let's grab this one. I'm going to do another tag. And just need to put some backing on there. So I'll use some of the scraps I've got here. My desk is very sticky. I've been playing with certain chemicals and it's made it all sticky. But that's for another video. Okay, so there's another tag, and a very easy way to add an additional layer is to add some lace or fabric. So just decide on where you want it. And I will tidy that up a little bit once I've stitched. have a nice additional layer with some fabric. What I'm going to do now is do a bit of layering on this with some of the scraps I've got, and I'm going to just create some rips. And I've got a couple of bits and pieces here, so I want 5 pieces. And I've got some embossed paper. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. And let's use some of this. Okay, so I'm going to use these on the corners. So the rips give it some nice layered effects. But like that. Okay, so I need to glue these down. So I think the fact that it's an odd number helps with the imagery of it being layered. So that does give it a nice layered effect. I'm just going to ink. Yes, I really like that. I think that's a really nice effect. I do need to decorate the back. Almost fits, but not quite. Perhaps what I can do is layer it on the back as well. I'll just do 3. Quite a rustic looking one, but I do like that. So yeah, doing that sort of in a series of 5 seems to, although 3 is nice as well, but it does give it lovely layered. I think where you've got the torn edges really makes a difference. So that's another way to layer, and of course you can add fabric and all sorts to that as well, but I just like that. Actually, I think I could just maybe put some kind of cluster or something on there, and yeah, I really like it. So I've got my finished tags, and I made a couple of others while I was off camera as well. So these are the ones that I put some vellum on, and I've left the vellum fairly loose, so I could slip something else behind there if I wanted to make it more clear, like there. Could put something like that, or maybe on this one some type of embossed paper could stand out, but I quite like it as it is, so I'm going to leave that. So I've got those 3 simple tags there, and I've got a little journaling card there. I've got that tag there with that layer on with the lace, and I made this one as well, so that's with a doily, and we've got this then that we made, which I was thinking perhaps, I'm not quite sure, will that fit? Yeah, that will fit in there. So that could potentially go in there, but I think that'll be too tall actually for my journal. I think I have made that a bit too tall. Let's have a look here. Now it's okay like that, but I might be something that I put in the back perhaps. And then what I could do for a hidden spot, which is a good idea, is I could actually use that as the hidden spot. So I could put some paper in there. So that's what I'll probably do with that one. So that's for the hidden spot. And then the other prompt is a photograph. So I've got a photograph here, which I need to ink up. So this is from my stash. So I can't remember where I got this from. It was definitely from Etsy, but I can't remember the artist. I do apologise. And what I was thinking of doing was putting a frame around it, so creating layers by framing this and adding some vellum or tissue paper in my case. So I'm just going to create a messy edge, and I don't mind if it's not straight. I think actually the less straight it is, the better, which I think amplifies the whole layering approach. So we'll extend that a little bit. So very much a sort of oblongy shape. And I was either thinking of putting that paper in the back or using one of the kit pages. I think probably that one will create more of an impact. This is very delicate paper, so I'm probably going to have to back it onto something. Okay, maybe I'll use this to back it. So we'll have that on the back. And with a little bit of vellum on there as well. So let us cut this as well. So it'll be something like that. So I've got to consider how I'm going to attach it on there and maybe stitch around there. And I wanted to do a little bit of typing on that as well. So I kind of want that image to be straight, but the other bits not straight. So maybe like that. It's hard to keep it straight, really. It's probably going to be difficult to put in the journal as well, but we'll figure that out once we get to that stage. Okay, so I'm going to do a little bit of typing on there and attach them together. I've decided not to stitch. I'm going to staple. for no particular reason other than I just want to do something a little bit different. So I've typed another little saying about layers, and what I thought I'd do is use that from the kit and try and get it all stapled together. Somehow. There we go. And let's see what that's going to look like on a page. So it's quite a nice way to layer things up. So that's, I think I quite like that. So that can go on there. And I'm just thinking now about using this in a way that you can have something hidden. Because I'm just thinking with this, even though I really like it, it's quite bulky. Before I do anything, let's see if I can fit something in there and how bulky it gets. So if let's cut this up a little bit. Well, that's okay like that. So this can be my hidden spot, my hidden journaling spot, which I will pop in the back. So I'll put my glue gun on. There we go. So I'm going to just glue this in place, but I'm only going to glue the top. So you can still do something underneath and put something underneath if you want. So that's that one. And I do need to do some tops on these, I think. Let us pop this in here. And I want to use maybe something from here like this, because I think that would be quite pretty. And I think that this side is better. So this is the Franklin page. I'm just going to make a simple belly band. Okay, so I'll leave that settle there. So that's going to go there. And then I just need to do some little, you know what I'm trying to say. I'm going to do it very simply. I shall just sort those out now. So let's have a look at this chunky monkey and see what I've done so far. So I've popped 2 tags in there. Let's have a look. So I've got that there. I think I really like that. I quite like it folded actually. I like the messiness of it. And there's another tag there. Popped a little tag in the background there. You can see I've just put toppers on them. Another tag there, the top. And a tag there. And just a useful idea when you've got prompts that you're stuck on in a challenge, you could always weave them into a sentiment or a quote or something. That's what I do when I'm stuck anyway. And that one there. So I think that's all the tags we made today. And I really enjoyed today's little crafting me session. It's been great playing with tags, and I do love making masterboards, so it's one of my favourite things to do. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. So I hope that you've been crafting along with me, that I've given you some ideas for the prompts of 18, which is layers, 19 photograph, 20 words, and 21, which was the hidden spot, which is my not so hidden bit of journaling space in the back there. Oh, and I did add a little bit of fabric there as well. So that's it. That's how this journal is shaping up. And thank you for joining me, and I'll see you to do the next prompts. Bye bye for now.